Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Annie again. So for this week and upcoming week's video, I want to share with you my moving process series video. It sounds very cool because if you do not know, I've moved from Philadelphia to Virginia. I did record every steps and process that I have to do for this moving to happen. So for this series, or for this first video, it will be about how did we choose our home, and what things we need to take into consideration when purchasing our home. So let's get right into it. So just a disclaimer, I have a real estate license in Virginia, meaning that I'm a real estate agent here. So I do have some insights of all the process of purchasing a house, like all the closing process. If you would like to know further information, feel free to email me or contact me, comment down below, and I will address your questions. So the first thing we need to decide is that, are we purchasing a house or a condominium, or are we leasing the property? So because it's 7 people who are moving with me to Virginia, that is my whole family, that's why a condominium does not work. And also condominium has a condo fee every month, which costs a little high in general. So we decide to purchase a house ourselves. With that being said, the second consideration we need to take in is the finance. So we had to do research to see what is the house average in Virginia, and according to market research, it's around $500,000 US for an average price in Virginia, house in Virginia. So that's why my parents, or the buyer, have to decide whether they would like to take mortgage, or they would have the sufficient capacity or funds to pay upfront full cash on. If you decide to purchase a house full cash on, then there's nothing to worry. You just, maybe when you work with a real estate agent, they might ask you to prove like your bank statement to ensure you have sufficient funds to see the house. The finance part plays a huge role because it also allows you to see what's your budget range, or your minimum and maximum amount that you're willing to invest in a property. Search on realtor.com or Zillow to see what is the price range, and reflect it back onto your current budget and see that whether it's suitable or not. If it's not, then that's where mortgage lender comes into play. If you have questions regarding to mortgage or lender or interest rate like that, feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to suggest you some of the lenders that I know of to give you a better rates to purchase your dream home. So another consideration we actually did was to see the neighborhood and choose a location. If you're in real estate or a real estate agent, everyone should know this, but location is the key. Location plays a huge role in real estate market in general. With that being said, when we look for our neighborhood, we want a neighborhood that is quiet, safe, and secure. Secure in the sense that it has a low crime rates. A low crime rate is very essential because first, I'm a female, there's my mom, also my sister-in-law, and also niece and nephews. So that's why we want to make sure that the neighborhood is safe. Our nephew can run around when he grows a little older. My little brother or my older brother who comes back from work late can feel safe and not feel there are burglars or theft around. You need to think of the future, meaning that the house you live in right now, for example, I'm living with my family, but in the next 2-3 years or 5 years from now, I will have my own family, or I will move because of my job. So if we decide to sell our current property, or we decide to lease it out, will it be good enough for the next buyer? Will the next buyer also see the potential in our location? Will our location or our house at the moment be accessible to the next buyer, the next renter's future job or school. Because the place we're living right now is only 15 minutes away from DC, where I studied and where I will be working. So that's why it's very convenient. But we did look at a previous house in Oakton, Virginia, which is a little further, which is like 30 minutes away or sometimes 40 minutes. And the houses over there are very beautiful, but it's just that the way into our neighborhood or into our house area, it's very unsafe. And because at night I'm just afraid that my class ends pretty late and I go home, if there's any accidents on the way, it's not a very pleasant feeling. So location is key. So remember that when you choose a place to live or a place to buy, location plays a huge role. So another factor that we consider after choosing a location or neighborhood is the inside of the house. We want to tour the house and see what it's like inside. Obviously on the outside somehow looks very nice because of the yard and the garden and all those, but sometimes the inside of the house can be very small. And the tips here as a real estate agent, when you look on Zillow or Realtor.com, there will say a square footage. That is how big the house inside is. And then you can take into consideration of, how many bedrooms and beds would you need for your family. For me, because we have 7 people and we need around 5 bedrooms minimum, that's why when we decide to choose a place to see, it has to fulfill the 5 bedrooms requirement. Before scheduling a house tour, you and your family need to identify what are your needs and wants in a house. The location can be perfect, but because you're living on the inside of the house, is there a particular things that you're looking for? For example, if you're like my family who likes to cook at home, eat a lot at home, so we would like a spacious kitchen, because in our old home, the kitchen was very small and condensed, so there wasn't enough space. So that's why when we decide to move to Virginia, we want a bigger space for everyone to move around and for a nephew to run around. So that is one of our requirements. So what are yours? You need to clearly identify so that when you schedule a house tour, it's easier for you to see the inside of the house and see if it's suitable for you and your family needs. So talking about house tour as well, it's not easy to schedule a house tour yourself, but it's best to have an agent. We don't have a buyer agent, so I will just contact directly to the listing agent and set appointment for us to view the house. It's a little hassle, to be honest, because we actually took weeks just seeing houses back to back, and it get really tiring just contacting millions of real estate agents, even though they are super nice. But it's just best that, if you have one person that you work directly with, so he or she can help you schedule those house tours to become more effective. The last important steps you also should consider when choosing a house, or I did consider, is choosing a real estate agent. Because it's very rare that seller sell the house directly to a buyer. So usually, most of the time, a seller will have a representative or a listing agent to help them find potential buyers, and buyers likely will also have an agent to work with them as well. So if you do not have an agent either in listing or in buying, feel free to contact me, because agent really helps you to explain all the process you need to pay attention to. So on the date that we offer for a property and it got accepted to the date of closing, it can take around a month or so, depending on the procedures. That's why it's very critical that you work with an agent, or you have an agent to represent you and your best interest, so that the process can be smooth. So if you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to leave down the comments or email me. And I think that'll be all for all the steps that I took when I choose a property to purchase. So if you like this video, do not forget to give this video a huge like, subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, and I will see you in my next video. Bye now. Bye.